Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics or STEM education is already happening in our CTE classrooms. It's important that we understand there are some cross-cutting concepts that are fundamental to give our students the highest level of education in our public schools.
As CTE teachers, we are preparing students for the world of work. We wouldn't be doing our job if we overlooked the need and the importance of better preparing our students for the current job opportunities that are available to them. With the continued growth of STEM careers and an estimated 1 million STEM-related careers over the next 10 years, this creates some pressure for CTE teachers to reevaluate their current teaching practices and to better help our students prepare for those growing demands.
In order to more explicitly connect and integrate CTE with STEM education, it's important that we contact those in high power at the district office and then work our way down the power ladder until every teacher and every administrator has been reached. Once reached, they'll be given examples of how to integrate CTE with STEM using the 5E rubric, and this shows what already exists in CTE lesson plans and what needs to be integrated and what needs to be updated to be able to make that integration fluid. Teachers are expected and will be certified and qualified to teach their classes. This means state certifications for every teacher in the district. And teachers will be given professional development time to be able to develop these lesson plans to integrate with STEM education. Many questions are asked about STEM and CTE, so teachers will be given a rundown of the basic questions that are out there and also given kind of an elevator speech of the main points to look at. Responsible individuals in the CTE STEM integration would be the CTE district administrators, CTE school directors, CTE instructors, and stakeholders. And the reason why these people have been chosen, the district administrators have a lot of power and they're able to push ideas and be able to form different programs that go throughout the schools in their district. They've got a lot of power and some backing, and they can train school CTE directors who were chosen because they have the power to hold meetings and pass on this information to CTE instructors. They'll be able to give the information, they'll be able to give the materials that are needed, the 5E model. They'll be able to give some guidance, some direction, and some examples of how to integrate CTE and STEM. The next piece, CTE instructors are the most important part of the integration because it would not happen without them buying into the STEM CTE integration. What goes on in their classrooms is really the final piece of this project. And stakeholders were chosen because they're the ones that can help push the information forward. They can get the information out there via social media. Being integrated into the system will help the integration of CTE and STEM move forward.
As with anything in education, change can be a very slow process. The timeline that is laid out for the first year is just creating awareness from the top down in our districts, creating open communication about importance of STEM education, gaining necessary support to proceed. The first 2 years of this plan, it would be important to create a pilot group of CTE teachers and incorporating math and science teachers as well to kind of test out the plan and work out any problems that might arise. This group would become the experts of using the NGSS EQUIP rubric and the 5E lesson rubric. This group would eventually become the mentors for future implementation. This time would be important to note that some education and training and additional endorsements might need to be acquired to teach certain areas or in certain areas or certain courses, or become fluent with information for some of these courses. An example might be, say, a business teacher that needs to get a computer science endorsement. During the second and third years, we could use professional development and PLCs. So more teachers will be educated and trained on how to first evaluate lessons that they already use using the NGSS EQUIP rubric. The next step would be to train and use the 5E lesson rubric to effectively create lessons that will integrate STEM phenomena. Year 3 and every year after that would be reevaluating lesson plans and adjusting curriculum to add more STEM-related content into each course. Just like any new topic or class that we teach, we can't tackle everything at once. In order for this to work for the long term, we would need to slowly integrate it into our lessons. For some teachers, they're preparing for multiple classes each day. They may or may not teach a class more than once a year. It is important to have progress, but the completion may take several years. Within our districts, each school varies on what classes are taught and what resources are available. Because of this, each teacher would be responsible on deciding what materials would be needed for the implementation. Teachers would need to plan for necessary classroom equipment, additional classroom supplies, and any teaching resources that they would need. CTE funds, if allowed, can be used to purchase anything for the CTE classes. Other types of funds that could be an option would be applicable grants, such as through the STEM Action Center to aid classroom supplies and STEM-related field trips. Other types of resources that will be needed are just making sure teachers are highly qualified and endorsed in their respective subject matters, and that teachers are open to the idea of working together to bring all the pieces together.
Some of the potential challenges that could arise with CTE and STEM integration would come from the liberal arts. The liberal arts are fighting for government funding, and the push for CTE and STEM education is very popular right now. And the importance is one of those things that is hard to determine, but liberal arts have had funds cut due to the STEM movement, and that could pose a problem with those that have been affected in that way. Some other possible potential challenges would come from within the infrastructure. The teachers, professors that just don't want to change their program. They've had it a certain way for a long time and do not want to move forward.
Open communication is imperative when it comes to a plan of this size. The CTE director and the administration need to have information on what is happening to keep their support. An official meeting with administration and the CTE director should happen 3 times a year, one at the beginning, middle, and the end of the school year. Counselors are a big support within the school as well. Meeting with counselors need to take place at the beginning of the school year and right before registration. Counselors can be our advocates for our programs and are the ones sitting down and discussing plans with students. Communication between CTE teachers can happen on a weekly or bi-weekly time frame, depending on PLC and professional development schedules. Some might even be more frequent through the use of email or other modes of communication.
The evaluation plan for the integration of CTE and STEM education begins with CTE teachers meeting 4 times a year to discuss their progress, discuss how they've integrated STEM education with CTE using the 5E rubric, and then this data will be gathered by CTE coordinators, talking about which lesson plans have been developed that match the STEM standards. And then with that data, they'll be able to go through and find those that are struggling, that need help being able to fully implement and understand the integration.